Today, I want to talk all about love. Yes, that's a book by Bell Hooks titled All About Love. That book is something that came to me in the last year and a half, year of my life that has completely transformed my relationship with my inner being, with God, with the universe, and with everything else around me. One of the key messages that I got from that book was understanding that love is more, instead of it being just an emotion like I love this person, it's truly a filter by way all of our actions are filtered. When you experience love truly on the divine sense and the divine essence of love, your actions completely align with that love that you have. When you are being offered love from the divine, from your spiritual self, from your spirit guide, from God, from the universe, it's unwavering. It's going to show you that you're loved, you're safe, and you're secure, even when some of the challenges may arise. Now, one of the things that I was misconstrued with most of my life was thinking that I had to earn love from other people. That if I didn't constantly perform actions that made other people happy, that I wasn't going to receive and get the love that I thought I deserved in life. I've been in relationships where someone would say I love you, but then do some awful and mean, just treacherous things that just didn't make sense. And I tried to rationalize it with the words that I heard, but ignoring the actions that I was witnessing and experiencing. And what ultimately that came down to was I was cutting myself off from the divine love that was being offered to me. It didn't matter how bad some situations got. I rationalized it as if that was actually them loving me and trying to change. When the same thing would happen again, I would rationalize it and try and expect them to change, when in reality, their version of love was me loving them and then them treating me however they felt like treating me. And that's not love. That's borderline abuse. That's neglect. That's not truly caring about yourself. One of the most powerful quotes from that book is love and abuse do not exist in the same place. If someone loves you and does harmful, mean things to you, what they're really saying is, I love how you let me treat you, not I truly love you and all of my actions are filtered by way through that feeling. Because the reality is, if someone truly loves you but keeps causing you harm, they should genuinely feel bad about what they're doing instead of you feeling bad that you're not feeling loved from them. And that right there is the greatest lie, quote unquote, the devil could ever tell, right? Is that we believe the words that we're hearing that are not in alignment with the love that the universe, that God, that our higher spiritual selves are offering us. In fact, so much so that it's impossible to attract and manifest the true greatness you've ever wanted in your life when you're allowing someone else treating you the way they want to be treating you, that in a way that isn't loving and kind to yourself. There's no way that you're in alignment and harmony with the true divine self that you're here to experience. If you're here to experience greatness and manifest wonderful things, then it's time to take the steps that align with your love that you have for yourself. One of the most dangerous cycles we can fall into is constantly forgiving someone for their actions because they love us. The reality is, love should filter their actions in a way that doesn't cause you harm, in a way that you don't have to forgive them for the harm that they keep causing. So much of what we're doing in life is filtered by this word gobbledygook that really doesn't make sense of I love you and see I'm proving it here and I'm proving it here, but ignoring really, really harmful, damaging behaviors. I go back to a job that I had once where I was told that I was brought in to help improve the company. I was brought in to do one particular job. And when I got hired, I kind of sat on my hands for a week waiting for a computer. And then when I got my computer, I shadowed someone I was supposed to be helping, but all of the experiences that I had in the world previously told me that what was happening really, wasn't to the fullest capabilities of what should be happening. So as I tried to make changes and recommendations based on my experience, there was a strange shift that happened. My seat was moved, and I started doing a completely different job that I didn't really understand. And I was assigned a task that, honestly, it was explained to me like I was building Legos on paper with different applications and talking about how the applications play. I don't even know. But ultimately, as I started doing the task, I realized none of this made sense. It didn't matter how many questions I asked, none of it made sense. At one point, my supervisor, while I was coming into work, pulled me into the room, into an office to yell at me and to tell me that I was doing an awful job and not performing as part of the team. And my only response was like, I'm not really understanding what I'm here for. I'm not really understanding what's going on. And all that ensued was more yelling and screaming. And all I learned from that experience was that I was hired not because for my skills, not for who I was. I was hired to be a punching bag. And as I looked around, I noticed most of my department was caught up in this weird cycle of just being emotionally abused day in and day out and told, well, you get paid great money, so you should be able to take it. And when I confronted my manager at the time about why she yelled at me, she said, well, because of where you're from, I thought you could take it. And I said, oh, I still don't understand why I got yelled at, nor do I understand the task you're asking me to do. And it got worse for me. It was just interestingly how bad, how quick that got. To the point where I was calling my recruiters, it was a contract position, and I was trying to tell them I didn't want to be here anymore. I don't know that I can do this job anymore. And sure enough, I went in that day and I was let go. And I think that was the greatest, I guess, firing of my life, because the moment that I was let go and walked out of that building, never to return, I was happy again. I was joyous and I did not have a job. And it didn't make sense. And what I now understand is that even in a job position, there should be some type of respect. It doesn't have to be full blown love, but respect for who you are as a person. Things that align with who you are as a person and being seen for the person that you truly are. In that job role, what I came to understand later on was the reason that I was hired is because I looked very similar to the manager's ex-boyfriend. And it was kind of eerie to me because in some ways I felt like I was getting yelled at for things that I didn't do or understand. And I started to understand at that point in life that some of us are just living our traumas over and over again. And those traumas will create situations that are less than ideal for ourselves. So for me, one of the traumas that I had and have since faced and started to recover from was that I thought that I had to get a job to make money regardless of if I liked the job or not. And the job was paid well. And I stayed there for a few months putting up with that nonsense and the constant yellings and just the emotional turmoil that I went through every single day. It got to the point where I would drive to work and feel physically ill. My stomach would hurt. I'd have to listen to positive affirmations and do everything that I could to survive that day in office, a day in office. I found that sitting at my desk, which was close to my manager, made my stomach hurt. I found that anytime I looked around and wanted to talk to someone, there was nothing positive being said around me. In fact, I felt like I was in a completely different world of existence that didn't match who I was as a person. And I can equate that to really not truly loving myself and being kind to myself, putting myself in a situation and a place that helped me succeed and thrive. So many of us are doing that with relationships. We're coming home to someone that's yelling and upset and angry that we weren't home doing our job because we were doing our jobs. So many of us are stuck loving family members and people that just aren't kind to us, that would rather yell at us for things that we're confused about rather than help us through the journeys and struggles that we currently have. In fact, some of us are surrounded by family and friends and relationships where we need support, but the only thing that's offered is frustration and anger and disappointment that we're not strong enough to survive it without just getting through it. And in some cases, we just need to learn that the love that we're seeking starts from within. When you can truly love yourself and you can align with that divine, God loving, universal loving, inner being loving self, you can start to experience love in ways that you've never experienced. You can start to find a world of abundance around you with things that you already have that align with the love that you've been seeking. And it's almost like a mystery game that you're playing where you're walking through life trying to figure out what is love, and you're looking and seeking and working and trying to find it from external sources. But when you cut yourself off from your internal source of love, you're going to find nothing but turmoil around you. And it wasn't until maybe a year and a half ago where I was sitting at a table listening to videos all about love, learning what love truly was, that I understand that I was living a life where I wasn't loved in a way that I wanted to be loved. I wasn't cared for in a way that I wanted to be cared for. I was surrounded by people that passed off care as love and harm as a mistake. And I was forced to constantly forgive harmful mistakes from people that said they loved me, that then repeated those same harmful mistakes. I look back to older relationships and family situations where I love you meant I can lie to you and you'll have to get over it later. And I never understood why I was supposed to love someone that constantly lied to me. And now I realize it's not love. It's not kindness. It's not who you are as a person. If you can learn that someone lying to you is someone that doesn't love you, someone that cheats on you isn't someone that loves you. If you can understand that, then you can get closer to stepping on the path to what love truly is for you as a person. You can start manifesting the relationship of your dreams when you start looking at the relationships that have been misery in your life and stop telling yourself that I have to do this because of beliefs and systems that really don't quantify or care about the love that you have for yourself. So many of us are stuck trying to live up to a perspective that others have created because of lack of love in their lives, because they never knew love, wanted love, or had love. So many of us are trying to hold on to relationships like our great grandparents did, or those that came before us, that really weren't based in love. If you start asking questions about what happened with this situation and what happened with that situation, you'll find you get quickly shut down because they're painful traumas that no one wants to talk about. But when you listen to the advice that you're given of just stick it out or just tough it out, just get over it, just get through it, you'll start to understand that that person isn't someone that truly loves themselves, and they're not going to give you the advice that helps you find closer love for yourself. The person you're taking from advice from, maybe the person that you think you're loving that isn't loving you back, is just giving you advice based on their traumas and their pains, trying to cover those up because they're not willing to do the work to find the love within themselves. Trust me, take the time. Maybe you want to go find the book. It's out there on YouTube. There's audio versions of it, All About Love by Bell Hooks. Transform your life into a life of love, self-love that you can then reflect out into the world. Because once you can align with that self-love, you can start attracting the real love in other people, and the world will start showing you that love right back to yourself. If you're struggling with the law of attraction, you're struggling to find abundance or manifest the goals of your dreams, maybe you're stuck in a situation where you're allowing other people to treat you in a way that isn't loving and kind based on what loving and kind is to you. You can start to understand that being a loving, happy, joyous person is truly who you're meant to be. And others that are not actively participating in what is loving and kind to you, they don't love you. They love how you let them treat you. So go forth, find love inside of yourself. Allow that love to be reflected like a bright, shining light back out into the world. And those that truly love you will appreciate that light. Those that don't will be offended and argue and trying to dim your light into a smaller box that allows them to treat you the way they want to treat you and then disguise it as love. It's not their fault. It's not anyone's fault. We're all struggling with traumas and pains and difficulties from the past. But when you can learn to first love yourself, you can start identifying actions and behaviors that are not loving and kind to you. Take the time, find love, alignment, and joy with who you are so that you can begin to manifest and attract the joy and love and happiness that you're truly here for in life. Have a wonderful, brilliant, and inspired day. Remember, your natural state of being is love, divine love, God's love, universal love, and inner being love. Take the time to align with that love and have a wonderful day.